Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be going through the Gladiators workouts. They've been doing videos on how they built the body, stuff like that, so I'm going to be giving my input and advice on them. For those of you who don't know, Gladiators, it's a game show that's just released recently in the UK. It was really popular in the late 90s, basically fitness game show where you go head to head in challenges against athletes and stuff like that. So before I get into it, I'd like to say, obviously, most of the gladiators, especially the men, are probably a lot bigger than me, a lot more advanced in training, have been training a lot longer, and would probably, you'd think, would know more things than me. However, so I'm going to get a lot of people who are going to be saying stuff like, oh, well, they're bigger than you, so how can you give them advice? They're bigger than you, shut up, stuff like that. Yeah, true, they might be bigger than me, maybe that they might have more... they might have been training longer, have more time under the belt in terms of training. However, they might still be saying something's wrong and they could improve on other things. I'm not saying these things to critique them necessarily and slate them and say they're doing stuff wrong, quote unquote. It's more for people who are new to the gym, and if they're watching those videos, their videos might be thinking, are they doing this right? Shall I just copy exactly what they're doing? So I'm basically giving... I'm critiquing things they're doing in the workouts for other people who are new to the gym and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you like the video and let's get into it. The first gladiator is called Bionic.
I'm Bionic and this is how I build my body. So my first one of 5, my staples that I do week in, week out is a dumbbell row facing down on the bench. Bionic doesn't do numbers, he just goes to failure. When I'm working, I go as many as I possibly can till failure, and that is it. So you go until you can't move.
So first point in this video, I have a bit of contention with numbers and reps. He doesn't count his reps. Nothing bad. I mean, I tend to not do that in the past. You just go to failure, which is fine. However, don't be thinking everyone should do this. Obviously, the good thing about counting your reps and tracking your reps is it allows you to see the progress you're making. Obviously, if months go by and then you're picking the same weight and you track your weight, you track your reps, and you're still getting 10 reps on the exact same weight, exact same form, then you know there's things you need to improve on. So yeah, you can still track your reps and stuff like that, but it doesn't really matter. Going to failure is the main driving factor of hypertrophy anyway. So yeah, good advice there.
To make it easy for yourself, I would normally set the dumbbells on the bench like so. All you do is you come over. For me, I like to keep my chest out so I can stretch my lats as far as I can. Grab them like this.
So yeah, this movement he's doing here is actually more or less, it should be done as an upper back movement. So he's saying he's trying to stretch the lats. Good form, brilliant form, but yeah, it's not really stretching the lats, it's more stretching the upper back. So yeah, it shouldn't be really bothered about stretching the lats because this is mainly an upper back biased movement, especially the way he's performing it with his form.
One of the most important things with this one is that I see a lot of people, you can do it this way, but how I want to do it is we turn them out, because the further out that you row, the more of the middle back you're going to hit, and that is exactly what I'm trying to do. All we do, stretch as far as we can, up, squeeze, and stretch.
So next point, this is kind of wrong here what he's saying. You don't do this to target the mid part of your back. The more you flare your elbows out, the more that's going to target more of your upper back, your traps, stuff like that. The more you tuck your elbows in, the more it's going to kind of give better leverage for your lats to pull your arms. So the more you flaring your arms out, it's not targeting the middle part of your back. It's just targeting more of upper back, rear delts, traps, stuff like that. Now, if you do want to target the middle of your back, your main focus shouldn't be your elbow positioning. It should be retracting your shoulder blades, retracting your shoulders. That is what's going to really contract fully your mid traps and your rhomboids and stuff like that. So instead of focusing, it's for your mid back anyway, instead of focusing on elbow positioning, focus more on retracting your scapula and getting your shoulders back at the top of the movement. Now, despite all that, it's still got very good form. Yeah, I can't really critique his form. Brilliant form, to be honest. So yeah, if you want to do that exercise, copy his form, perfectly fine.
Number 2 is an incline dumbbell chest press. Again, this is something I do weekly whenever I'm doing a push workout. I normally put the bench 2 or 3 clicks. The higher you put it, the more upper chest you're going to do.
Now, next point, I get what he's saying here. However, the higher you put the bench, it's not more upper chest. The higher you put it, obviously, the more front delts you're going to activate. Once you get past like 45 degrees, you're getting into mainly just training your shoulders territory, and your chest hasn't got any leverage to push up, and the weight's not going through your chest. However, you actually don't really need to put the bench up past, I'd say, 30 to 40 degrees to target your upper chest effectively. Like I said, once you start getting too high, it's just going to be more shoulders. So 30 degrees, 40 degrees around that height angle is more than perfectly fine to be doing upper chest and target specifically your upper chest fibers more effectively.
One of my weak points actually is my very upper chest, so when I'm doing this lately I will always go 3 or 4 clicks with the bench coming upwards.
Now, in terms of his form here, just a few pointers for people if they are doing the exercise. He could possibly go a bit deeper and get a better stretch. However, I'm not going to say he has to and he's doing it wrong, because obviously he might not be going as low because he might have, I don't know, shoulder problems. I know the whole point of his character Bionic is that I think he's got a metal plate somewhere or something in his part robot, part human. That's the whole point he's going for. So I'm not sure if he physically can't get as much of a stretch. However, it'd be good if he could. But yeah, apart from that, form's perfectly fine. And yeah, as long as he feels comfortable doing the movement, it's fine. But his elbow position and everything seems brilliant. So yeah, form's fine on that.
I just leave the dumbbells so they're not touching, so very, very close together, but not so they're smacked together, so you keep it controlled. Down as far as you can, up and squeeze, while keeping them shoulders back. 6 to 8 I normally do for my warm-ups, but same thing, working as many as you can.
So I noticed there he said 6 to 8 reps for a warm-up. That's quite low for a warm-up. I'm not sure if he's doing 6 to 8 reps with a light weight. If he is, he should probably up the reps. If you're doing a light weight and you're doing a warm-up, you want to be at least getting as much blood flow into it as you can to warm up. So I think 6 to 8 reps for a warm-up is quite low. Maybe pick a light weight, do 20 reps or so for your warm-up, then up the weight, and then maybe on, or if, like what I do, I'll do a warm-up, then I'll go straight to my working weight. Then you go to 6 to 8 reps, yeah. But 6 to 8 reps for a warm-up is quite low, and probably should do a lot more higher reps, especially to prevent injury for your warm-up. So yeah.
So number 3 is a dumbbell side raise, side lateral raise, whatever you want to call it. Very basic, this one. All we're doing is literally to the side like that. One thing with this is I see a lot of people roll forwards and using the back, using everything but the muscle they actually want to use, if that makes sense. So what I always tend to do, nice and straight, slight roll back, like so, and then just straight out to the side, like that. So again, we're not slouching over, we're back, and just using that side delt. That's all we want to do here, nothing else.
I noticed here he said if you're swinging, obviously using everything but your lateral delts, which is just wrong. You are going to be using your delts regardless if you're doing the exercise with a bit of momentum. However, yeah, you shouldn't really use momentum. Try and be strict and just use your side delt during the movement. Unless you get to the end of your set and you're trying to do just an extra couple reps to get some out and just, you know, what you say, burning the muscle just to get a bit more, couple reps out of it at the end. But yeah, apart from that, form is good, to be honest. Brilliant form on those.
Number 4 is going to be a dumbbell single arm extension. Triceps can be difficult to do with dumbbells because your options are limited, but this one I love to do. I do this every week as well. So all we do with this one, make sure your back is nice and straight like so. Don't hunch over. Straight as you can. Your elbow wants to be tucked in as far as possible. Pretty much aiming for your backside. So you're tucked right in, don't slouch out. Keep it in there. Once you're in that position, you're just going to come straight out and squeeze like so. As far in as you can, out and squeeze.
Now I've noticed here he's doing tricep kickbacks with a dumbbell. To be honest, this is a fairly overrated exercise, and there's far more better exercises you can do with a dumbbell or dumbbells to train your triceps. Range of motion is lackluster. You're getting a good fairly good contraction at the top, but then literally halfway down into the range of motion, the tension just drops off your tricep completely. And another thing is, within the exercise, you're thinking of a lot of other things during the exercise, which could be a limiting factor. You're having to think of having your elbow all the way up, keeping your arm up, straightening your arm, and the position you're holding yourself in as well. Instead of just thinking about straightening your arm, you've got to think about all these other variables as well. So a good way, obviously he's using dumbbells, but a good way to get the same effect is literally to do a single arm tricep extension on a cable. It would be far better. You can increase the weight easier, more range of motion, more stable, not having to think about other things. So yeah, personally I'd just not recommend that exercise. And even if you do only have dumbbells, there's far better exercise you can do. You can do dumbbell skull crushers, you can do heavier dumbbells. I think it's called French press, where you've got one behind your head, more range of motion, and better gravity's pulling the weights down better. So yeah, better exercise than that, just don't do that exercise.
So number 5 is the barbell squat. This is something that you don't see many tall people do, but I love doing it. I always have. It's actually one I probably enjoy the most. So what we're going to do here, we're going to lift the bar up. Depending on what you want to do, if you're looking to hit your quads, I'll bring my feet closer together like this. If you're looking for more glute and hamstring, a bit wider. But for this one, I'm just going to go neutral, hit a bit of both.
So he's moving on to squats now. First point, this is not true. A wider stance does not activate the glutes and hamstrings more necessarily. Hamstrings and glutes are involved more with hip hinge. So if you're up straight and your glutes move back, that's obviously stretching the hamstrings, and then you're squeezing your glutes to bring your body back up. So a hip hinge is going to be a lot more glutes and hamstrings. Having a wide stance is not changing where the glutes are moving. So yeah, hip hinge is what targets your glutes and hamstrings. Wider stance can be or will be training a lot more of the adductors. Depending on how you do the exercise, if you do a wide stance, I see a lot of people doing this on Smith machine, they'll have a wide stance, glutes will kind of come out a bit, and then they'll squeeze the glutes to bring themselves up. Yes, that will target the glutes, but you're not really doing squats to target the glutes mainly anyway, unless you're just trying to do one compound movement to get as much bang for your buck as you can. But yeah, if you want to target your glutes and hamstrings during a squat, instead of trying to do a wide stance, just do your normal stance, focus on the bar positioning, do a low bar back squat, so you're getting more hip hinge, your glutes are going to stick out more, and you're going to basically have to do kind of like an RDL, you squeeze your glutes to bring your body back up straight. So if you want to target your glutes, do low bar back squats rather than high bar back squats and having a wider foot stance. And then at the other end, if you want to train your quads more, it's just about getting as much knee bend as possible, getting your knees over your toes as much as possible. So yeah, in simple terms, if you want to do squats and train your quads, you should just be going straight up and down. If you want to be doing squats and train your glutes should be sticking out back and coming in rather than just going straight up and down.
So once you're in this position, you come down, stick your bum out as far as you can, get nice and low so you're pretty much here, fire it back up.
So good advice there on getting as low as you possibly or comfortably can. Obviously the deeper you get into the squat, the more knee bend you're going to get, the more quad stretch you're going to get, which is overall going to be better for hypertrophy. As well, the lower you get, the more controlled you should be with the weight. If you use a heavy weight and you get really low, it's going to hit you quite quick that weight is not for you. So it kind of allows you to put your ego aside, focus on depth, focus on form, rather than going halfway down and just racking up the weights when you shouldn't be. Now, he also mentioned about sticking your bum out at the bottom. You don't want to be sticking your bum out and sticking your glutes out at the bottom of the squat. That's going to be curving your back, which is putting a lot of pressure on your lower back. Obviously, naturally, the glutes are going to come out more because you're trying to keep the bar in your centre of mass over your midfoot. However, ideally, you just want the glutes to travel up and down, not excessively out, unless like you're doing a low bar back squat. So yeah, instead of having the glutes stick out at the bottom, just think about straight up and down, keeping your back straight. Your back should move like this and then be straight at the top. You shouldn't be coming down and overly, excessively pushing your glutes out at the bottom of the squat.
When I'm doing the squatting, one thing I don't like doing is what I've just done here, which is stopping mid-set. Unless you're near the point of failure, when you need to take a breath. If you can though, what I like to do is keep going. So you will not see me stop at all. So I'm continuously on the move, keeping the muscles under tension the whole time that I'm doing this, literally non-stop like that. And when I start to struggle like now, I might come up, take a breath, and then go again, just to get as much out of it as possible.
Obviously, he's mentioned here that he doesn't stop at any point during the movement. I get what he's saying, it's constant tension and all this. However, you should probably stop at the bottom. If you get as low as you comfortably can, stop at the bottom, get that stretch on your quads. That's then going to lead to better gains, more hypertrophy, more stimulus on your quads. So a pause at the bottom and then explosive out of that pause, get rid of all the momentum rather than going straight up and down, not pausing. You don't need to pause at the top. I mean, you can pause at the top, but it's not really doing anything. However, pausing at the bottom should be a priority. You should be wanting to pause at the bottom, milk all that tension in your quads and the stretch before you go back up. So yeah, constant tension going straight up and down is good. However, slight pause at the bottom of each rep for 2 seconds or so is brilliant. And yes, again, stopping at the top, you only really need to do if you're re-bracing, taking a breather, stuff like that. So yeah, you're not really adding any extra tension pausing at the top. Just do it when you need to take a breather before you're going into the next descent for your next rep.
Because I think if you're starting your set and you're sort of stopping and resting at the top, for me, you can probably work a bit harder, maybe lift a bit more. So what you don't want to do is if you're doing it and you're struggling after the first rep, that's when it's probably too heavy. So again, rep range wise is total failure, but at least try to hit 10 reps minimum, but as many as you can, basically.
Yeah, good advice there on achieving failure and pushing yourself. I agree with that totally. You get a lot of people obviously who don't really reach failure and they kind of pussy out and get into those hard reps, which is good advice there. So make sure you're pushing yourself and giving it all you can, really.
That's Bionic. I hope you enjoyed, and they are my 5 staples of how I build my body.
Well, there we are, guys, done there. So overall, I'd say it's quite a good workout. Advice he's giving is pretty good. Obviously, there's also some things which he could improve on, some bits of advice which he could also improve on, and knowledge-wise, obviously passing knowledge on to people who are watching the video, should make sure that all of his advice is correct and fits people's goals and stuff like that. So yeah, that is the end of the video there, guys. If I've missed anything out that you think I should have mentioned, or you think I've said anything wrong or anything, please feel free to leave questions and stuff like that in the comments. So yeah, I'll leave the video there. This one's gone on for quite a while, so I'll probably do another video on the other gladiators next in another video. So yeah, hope you like the video, guys. Please like, subscribe, and goodbye.